This is the team.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is Monday, May 13th. It is 1:11 here on the West Coast. That means it's 4:11 out east by Bennett. Bennett, how we doing today?
Doing good, man. Looking at these meme stocks. This
Man,
GameStop going crazy.
Before you go into that, I'm pretty proud. I want to show this T-shirt off.
Let's see.
I met this like cool ass vintage seller. He let me into the warehouse like a secret day where he just let me in a down, whatever. Everyone gets the cool like dare shirts, like, oh, I'm doing drugs. Peep it, read it.
Hold on. Too many books, too little time. That's
How
awesome.
fly is that, y'all? How fly is that? Straight from the 1994 Scholastic Book Fair in the building. All right. So that's
Before we go, can you send me a picture of that? I want to see if we can get like Dylan to like redraw that and like put the Monopoly guy.
why you gotta do that?
I mean, it's a cool shirt.
No, mine. Six shirt. Maybe. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about this market for a little bit. All right, so today was nothing much happened inside day in the S&P and the Qs, and really this market is waiting on. We got PPI tomorrow and then CPI Wednesday, and inflation has been driving this market higher and lower with its recent readings. Inflation has been ticking up, which has been a problem for the rates narrative, and really it's like tomorrow it's pretty much as simple as. And the next 2 days, really, if we get a high number on the inflation, we're probably getting a sell-off, probably getting rates are going to rise. And opposite number, number comes in lower in line, we probably get a move higher. So, I hate these situations where it's all data dependent based on a economic number, but what can you do? That's what we're dealing with. So let me get into charts real quick. Most important chart in the market right here. You got my screen too up?
Mm-hmm.
All right, most important chart in the market, 10-year right here.
Hold on, Jake. I'm sorry, 1 second. Before you jump in, can you make your numbers on the side bigger? I remember one of them was asking that.
Of course I can. I would love to. Just let me figure out how. How's that? Juice them up.
There we go. Perfect.
All right. So here we got, maybe a pattern breaker a couple weeks ago on that when the market gapped and went to the upside, whatever that was. It was a Thursday following the Fed meeting. And we've been pushing higher since then. Stocks have been moving pretty well, but we're getting sluggish at highs. And it seems like, whichever way this resolves, this little flag is a bear flag, or is it a retest of this base and we're going to move higher again? That's the move in equities right here is whatever happens with this 10-year. So you look at the Qs, this very important to recognize this gap and go to the upside right here. This is a big buy signal. This is the market changing once again. So it changed when we broke down. We're in this little consolidation. We're back and forth. When we gap and go to the upside, that's another change. And that's when buyers are showing strength once again. So since then, I've been pretty long, pretty bullish. We're moseying on higher, but we're staring down this huge resistance area. We're chopping around to the level. Anything can happen here. Again, it's about, the news tomorrow. Same thing with the S&P. S&P is a little bit stronger. It's got financials, which are strong. Utilities have been really acting really well. And the metals, gold, silver, all those stocks have been moving really well to the upside. So they're the diversification of S&P is definitely benefiting them. Tech, definitely weaker. And we'll see. So we'll probably get some new all-time highs tomorrow. We get a low number. Or we pull in, maybe 5-10, who knows? So being very selective myself, chart-wise, stock-wise, I only want to be in my favorites right now. I don't want to have risk across the board. But we're facing news. So if you want to get into some charts, I'll get into mine after.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really it for what I'm broadly thinking. It's, this PPI comes in light, should get some good action. Same with CPI. Simple.
Yeah. So can you touch on the Qs and the SPY? I'll jump into a couple sectors. Again, the big thing we saw this last 2 weeks or so has been these utilities, as you mentioned, been super strong. 17 out of the last 19 days, pretty much has traded higher. We've seen a run up in this, kind of end of 2023, and then it starts to fade. So if we do start to see some weakness in the utilities, that could be a better sign for the more risk on sectors, tech and things like that. You mentioned financials being super strong lately. Again, we just see these higher lows. We see this kind of bigger breakout through this 102 area. The most important thing for myself from last week that I saw was the staples. So we've seen for the past few months with the S&P, with the Qs, we saw that change from the breakout stage to what was, we thought was potentially a breakdown stage, but it was broadly the index and markets consolidating in a topping pattern. And as the market was breaking down, it seemed like we would, enter a breakdown stage. But consumer staples have been the first sector to base out or form a topping stage and break higher. So we had Thursday and Friday, we had, very strong action in the consumer staples, bullish engulfing back-to-back days, maybe days a little bit profit taking, but this was sector-wise, one of the most important signs on my end, seeing that it was able to successfully break this topping pattern to the upside, which gives me a little bit more confidence that when the S&P or when the Qs get up there, maybe they too can push up through higher, where typically when we meet that first major retest of prior resistance, typically we see, resistance get met there because people are just taking profits, but staples are maybe showing us that, if we get a good PPI and good CPI number, maybe we do push higher through that. So that was my big cue from last week, was just keeping an eye on the staples and what they're doing as, a little bit of a forward indicator.
Big week of earnings for the staples. Walmart, Home
Mhm.
Depot. Is Amazon this week? No, Amazon already reported. I'm lacking. But
Yeah.
Walmart, Home Depot. I know a bunch of staples. It's like Staples Week.
Mhm. So moving on to a couple charts just while I'm here. Again, I know you were mentioning NVIDIA as well in the shakedown. So keep an eye on this, little 923 area versus this 875. Again, we have like this bigger potential breakout through this 975 down the road. But for now, just keep an eye on this like little base that's been forming through this, 920, 923 area. Keep an eye on that. Again, telecom sector has been flagging out pretty nicely. Again, I've been watching this T-Mobile all year long for this 165 solid to break. Again, Thursday and Friday held it perfectly. High a day on Thursday was 164.94. And then today it opened 164.99 and just kind of got, smoked all day long. So there's definitely clearly a seller at this 165 area. Once it clears that, and again, we're starting to see marginally the buyer step up. So, all of, going up until end of April, buyers are supporting 160. After earnings, buyers are kind of stepping up a little bit. So it's just getting tighter and tighter at this inflection point. So if we see telecom stop, the sector breakout, VOX, we should expect to see T-Mobile follow along with that. We mentioned financials being very strong. This Ally getting very, very tight here. Again, earnings out of the way. Nice little earnings flag forming. Just getting tighter and tighter on the daily here. Entries through this 40. As of last week, 39's been kind of a little pivot low here. And then lastly, a name I got into today was this GTLB, a little support buyback. Again, not the most phenomenal close today. We just had some, few inside days near support. So I, bought up through 54 today, keeping a very tight stop, actually versus 53. Because again, I want to see some continuation. I'm not trying to sit here and hang out this name if it's not looking to break out of support very quickly. But bigger focus really is these big three: NVIDIA, T-Mobile, and Ally. This GTLB
Big
is
three.
well, just of the, of these, of my watch list, like I should say.
You said the big
Um,
three.
oh, so with that, Shake, I'll pass it back to you, and we'll see what you got going on.
Joe. It would behoove us if we didn't talk about. We were talking about this all pre-market. I mean, pre-video. We forgot to talk about it here. We got the meme madness is back. Roaring Kitty tweeted, "This guy moves markets." All the meme stocks absolutely ripped today. This GameStop right here was halted 3 or 4 times, up 75% after it was up 100% last week. And you're just seeing it kind of across the board. Novavax 48%. This Lemonade closed up 12. That was a big short. I know what's this AMC. What's that one doing? Of course, up 78%. While it's fun to see that stuff happen, typically right before markets pull back after a run, we start to see the shit flying. And that's a little area of concern for me when the shit starts flying. And that's what those stocks are. That's what those it's like the shit flying. So we're facing the economic news I told you tomorrow, but I see that and I'm like, oh, that's not a great sign for the health of the market overall. Besides that, I love this toast setup. More sideways it does here, the better. It's trying to break out of a huge stage one base. And it's just all right. So it's got this huge level here, stage two, huge base resistance level. And the level is 26, 27-ish, all right? So the
Mhm.
earnings move took it like pretty much through the level, and I drew this line, and then look where we're bouncing every day, where it's kind of making these, this consolidation. It's
Mhm.
right at the top of this, this huge base resistance level, this white line I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So the fact it's bouncing on top of that, trying to turn it to support, I got a decent position. I bought day one, add a little bit in this flag, but I'm not married to that. I'm married to my day one position against these lows. If this wants to push up higher through 2750, I'll add.
Mhm.
But that otherwise just kind of waiting on it to chill. This PSTG, we're in this one. We've been in this one. I originally got involved this day right here. You see this big old base, super tight at the top end of the range. Bought a feeler this day, added this day, and I added a bit today when it took out the inside day high, and it kind of closed my price. So I was in those ads and I was kind of out. Heavier position for me. So if this breaks 55, I'll probably even add some more tomorrow with a tight stop just below this. So 53.89 or whatever. If it breaks perfectly tomorrow, that
Mhm.
way I can, kick some stock up here at 58, 58.50, and then just hold for the bigger move through the highs. That would be the plan for that one. Someone called this TSCO out last week. We had a nice entry. He said, this looks like a shake setup. Him in the DMs. I was like, you, my brother, know what a shake setup looks like. What do I love about this chart? Strong explosive move, pulls in, consolidates, creates this new support. We're buying up off that support level. And now it's just working higher. So, the plan, kick some with the retest the highs and try to hold for the bigger move. I was in and out of this spot last week. We bought here. I sized down on Friday when it kind of pushed higher. Here you go. It pushed higher and took out these highs or 303-ish, whatever it is, and then reversed. So I sized down. So now I still have my original out. I only have 100 shares now. I'm looking for an ad, but if it comes down, retest this support at 280 and bounces higher, I have another entry location. And what I like about this trade is something I'm trying to do more. It's like I want to buy against the real support level when it doesn't look as amazing. I know
Mhm.
some people were trying to buy this 300 last week, but you have to realize it's much more of a Mickey Mouse flag
Mhm.
when the range is here from 303, 280-ish, whatever it is. We come down, test 280 successfully. I'll add that position back, and who knows what happens from there.
Mhm.
I was in this Google last week. Oh man, that ripped back today. I sized down Thursday, Friday. I was buying here. I didn't make much on this trade, and then I got out of a bunch of my size when it broke down here. I was looking for another ad. The ad was this morning. I wasn't aggressive enough with that. That's okay. Shouts out to Dave Kennedy. I just sold like 90% of this cost. He completely got me into this one. It's all his glory, this trade. Beautiful trade. And I wasn't hugely sized, so it made it really easy to capture the full move. I
Mhm.
didn't kick any. And then I took off. So I bought this 735, 730, 735-ish against these lows. I kicked some last Thursday, and then we retested these highs, see if we have the juice to get through them. And I pretty much got out of all my size today. I'm holding a little feeler runner, see what happens with it, but
Mhm.
that's like, that's such a great easy trade. Just ran up to this retest. Now, if it consolidates here and goes higher, I'll be upset I kicked that. But when you get this action retesting highs like that, market's looking a bit iffy. That's a really nice trade there for us. Another one I found today is Warby Parker. This is my favorite setup, and it treated us really well last quarter. Remember this hood from last quarter?
Mhm.
You'll notice a lot of these setups are all very similar. So this toast is that hood part two where it gaps up to the top of the trend line after going to hiding for like a year or two.
Mhm.
So look at this hood. We were buying this 14 all crazy last quarter when it gaps up on earnings. And then, look at the move when it finally breaks. Bam, straight to 20, $6, almost a 50% move, maybe went over, whatever. So this Warby is another one I got on my radar that's very, very similar to that. Gaps up on earnings, and now it's kind of flagging at the top end of the range. We get a few days of sideways here that would make a great entry. And you know, something like this Bros, Dutch Bros. We killed this name in here. Such a you remember that? Miss it. Miss this type of action. We murdered this name here.
Mhm.
I remember you did, and I was talking a lot of smack on it. Another one though, gapping up to, you know, coming out of this huge base, got there too quickly. You know, this was the earnings day and then it ran to the top of level. So I'm not, you know, I'm not looking to enter this one tomorrow, but it's one I'm very, very focused on. Reddit is my big winner from the day. Me and Mark were in this one. Name it huge earnings. And then this is what I want to do with earnings. I want to find the earnings I like, and then I want to find the earnings out at a really calculated spot. I want to buy it. So we bought this Reddit through here. And now I'm guessing it's up so much on this GameStop and all this stuff news. Reddit's like the mecca of this place. So I guess it's a beneficiary, up 9% today. But now I'm just sitting. Now I want to see it go sideways. You know, yes, it's up a lot from my entry, but I don't want to rush out of stock because it's showing me I'm right. And so many times this year, I've definitely got rid of stock too quickly in big winners. So I definitely want to work on that. This does nothing the rest of the week. Even if it takes out today's lows, it'll still be in. I just want to see this go sideways for this next move higher. I see no reason it can't retest these highs up here at 75.
Mhm.
Look at this huge base here, just a little cup. So that one's looking really nice. A couple others that are on my radar. RKT, you know, another one that's been in this big base. And it's another one that benefits from the meme stock stuff. And it's got one of these, you know, momentum flags. Would have been nice to enter today, that 1410-ish, but see if it consolidates here. Maybe we get another leg higher, or maybe get another chance at entry. Another one's this cake. This is like this Bros, and didn't really give us a chance today because it gapped up to the you know, here's the earnings day. Here was the inside day, and now it pushed higher on that. But that's just an example of what I'm looking for on these names. It seems like there's plenty of them. There was another one. Oh, and then Crocs. So I'm focused on this Crocs as well. I'm kind of kicking myself. It had this, so gaps up on earnings, and then what do I like so much about it? Gaps up on earnings, and it has the huge resistance level overhead. The mistake, it gaps up on earnings, has the inside day. I got to be buying through that inside day here. So I'm just sitting pretty with stock. I thought it could use a little more sideways, but now I'm kicking myself for not being involved. Now I'm looking for sideways in this area, so I'm going to get an eventual entry to this 145, 146, 147. Right now, nothing to do with it, 3 days up, but that's kind of the thought process of a lot of these names, you know, kind of waiting for that perfect entry in names that I think are going much higher versus trying to be involved in a million things. So that's really it. We'll see what we get with all these news drops. This PPI tomorrow is the first one. CPI, the bigger one, Wednesday, but the market will be moving off PPI tomorrow. So always annoying when, you know, as I mentioned, market's just, you know, going to be news based these next 2 days. But what can you do? It's the environment we got ourselves in. We get some low numbers. We'll probably get some new all-time highs, which would be nice. So that's really all I got. You got anything else you want to touch on?
I think the one like funny thing for today was, you know, with the halts with GME. I saw a tweet from Robinhood where they're like, we're not halting it, and it's like them going from, you know, when they halted it back in COVID, it's like they became the villains, and now they're like finally 4 years later, they're like trying to get that goodwill back, which I thought was pretty cool to see, you know. But
I thought the best part of today, this GameStop day, was Andrew Tate tweeting. I bought $1 million with GameStop. They halted it. The Matrix is against me. Homeboy's got to look up circuit breaker rules a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's a little paranoid.
It's crazy to be in this world where motherfuckers like that have so much pull and they have no idea what's going on. What are you barking at, girl? No, man. Let's get out of here before it gets unruly up in this place. You know, I gotta say it, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Ooh, my stuff's getting down. Like, comment, subscribe. You got any questions for us? We're always here for you. Other than that, we'll catch you guys next week. If you think you're going to get rich overnight trading, we're not for you. If you don't want to read daily or weekly to improve upon yourself, we're not for you. If you're not interested in saving weekly and building your accounts for the long term, we're not for you. If you're not looking to improve yourself daily, we're not for you. If you do want to build wealth for the long term, read weekly, save weekly, do all the right things for the long game, then we might be for you.